So if you're attempting to share right now, we're not able to hear anything.
Can't you hear anything?
Nope.
You gotta click the box, share computer sound.
Oh. Oh, I can't find where it is.
It's at the beginning when you start to share. It will give you the option to click the icon.
I don't know where the option is. Sorry, I can't see it.
At the bottom left-hand corner.
Are you on a computer?
Yeah. I don't know why it's not changing. Can you hear it?
No.
All right.
Well, do you want to look for it and I'll play something in the time being?
You can just put a link in the chat. Nolan will queue it up.
Sure.
Yeah, that sounds good.
So I just put the link in the chat. Sorry for that mess up.
No, no problem. I don't think anyone here is in a big rush, right?
All right, I'm pulling it up.
I think these days, we're gonna see an economy of no copyrights, so people can share things freely like before, This copyright business is totally out of hand.
Yeah.
We passed that.
Yeah, it's just really interesting. Like when you take artistry and then you connect it to like Beyonce and the Rolling Stones, and it's become like this big commodified thing, and artists need to get paid because they have to have the Rolls Royce and the mansions, or they're not real artists. I don't know. I understand giving value to the cultural voices, but when those voices are siloed, feels like part of our spirit gets siloed also.
You said it.
Can you guys hear it?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Hold on 1 second. I forgot to hit the checkbox. All right. Just give me a thumbs up if it works.
Would you search through the lonely earth for me? Climb through the briar and bramble. I'll be your treasure.
Without any fear of copyright and shut down. I
Could
mean,
you,
it's a pity. It's a pity. It's a pity, you know, since we're not harming no one, and it's only all good when you're
did,
able to share things like that.
have you come across that guy before, Johnny Flynn? Very English. Old English folk song.
Hey, Phalan,
Yeah.
could you try something for me? Because I think we could get it to sound better on our end.
Oh, sure. Oh, you guys are not hearing it well at all.
I can hear it, but it's like I'm not really getting the bass.
Okay.
Um,
What should I do?
so you're gonna want to stop screen sharing,
Stop screen sharing. Okay.
and then try it again. And this time, before you click share, um, there's a box in the lower left-hand corner that says share computer sound.
Okay. Share computer sound. Okay, I see. Thank you. Sorry
Yeah.
about that, guys. Yeah, so this song is funny. I used to listen to this all the time, like when it came out, and like for a couple of periods, I that was kind of like one of my songs, and I revisited it recently. I don't know, looking to capture a moment, recapture a moment. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the album. It's an old one.
I could play it from my file, I guess. Let me go fetch it, and then I'll bring it in. Okay.
Sounds
I
good.
just have to get it.
It's crazy how music can just transport you back to a certain time,
Isn't it?
like just like it. And I mean, it's been used in like I know they've used it to help people,
Mhm.
elderly people with dementia and memory problems.
Yeah, there's a
Okay, I
whole
got it queued up. I got it queued up.
Awesome.
I was like, whose share was that? Who was it that shared that one?
Imre.
Okay, here.
Hey guys, I'm
Is
gonna
that
go on
yours,
my
Jackie?
walk soon. I just wanted to show you the conversation before I left, if
Cool.
anyone wants to see it.
Yeah, I'd love to see it.
That was beautiful, Emery.
You know, Facebook shut me down doing that. I couldn't go to any one of my friends' uh, timeline for a whole day.
Wow.
For the whole day. Their
Why?
bots shut me down. I had to write them a letter to tell them what I was doing and to give me back the privilege of being able to go to your timeline, to be able to produce that video. Weird, eh?
You know, believe it or not, I've never gotten shut down by Facebook before. I know people who are much milder in terms of the stuff that they post than I do, than I am. Right. And yeah, I've never gotten shut down.
You know, I had to write them a letter to explain what I was doing, to be able to go back to normal. I couldn't go to nobody's page because I was taking a 4-second clip from everybody's page, every one of my friends' page, to put into this video.
Nice.
And they didn't like that.
They didn't like that. Wow.
But when I explained it to them, it made perfect sense, right? But the bots, they wouldn't let me do it until I explained it.
Wow. It's funny that how were you recording it?
Screen record.
Like a regular screen record, and they
Well, I got a special screen record. It's
and they're able to determine when you're using that app on Facebook.
I guess so, or I don't know. I'm not sure, but they shut me down.
That's interesting. I'd love to figure out how. What screen recording program are you using?
I'm using iSpring.
iSpring. Yeah, that's kind of
iSpring.
From the Mac, right?
iSpring FreeCam.
Okay.
Hey, I'm about to go on a walk. I just wanted to show you the conversation before I left.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So this is from today, and I just happened to call it The Sovereignty of Consciousness. If you have a better title for it, please let me know, because I just kind of pulled that out of my ass.
Oh my, I love this.
My highest standard for my writing: clarity, sincerity, and simplicity. Then here's Kushbu. And I even got her screenshot that she showed us that book on, we went through history and male and women interpretations of how the seeds of history and stuff. Then So Fast Rush showed us one of her little poems, the one with the sheep. We talked about Phalan's screenplay. We heard about, there was some synchronicity with Jackie doing some food stuff in Brooklyn and Phalan doing Brooklyn Dow. We heard Jackie read the part of the Evo Woman. Let's see.
The hippie from the hood.
Yeah. We talked about abuse and orphans and healing and shame. Here, I like this. I'm bigger than what has been done to me. Hang on. Oh, we talked about fractals, repeating fractals in our history. Here's to birthing ourselves beyond the pain, kind of like a metamorphosis. When you can stand as your sovereign self and move past adolescence. I like that. I flower occasionally, then turn into a bud again. Yeah, so that's it. Just wanted to show you again, if everyone should have the link, it's posted in the chat if you want to either see it or change the images or star things or add icons. You're free to do that or to tell me and I'll do it. Yeah, so I just wanted to show you before I left. So we have like a record of that conversation. And also if there's something, you know, personal in that, you can let me know or you can just remove it, whatever you want. It's like, you know, it's up to you.
Thank you.
All right, it was a great conversation, as always.
Yeah, it should be.
Awesome. Thanks for putting that together.
You're welcome. Bye, everyone.
Okay, take care.
How does this work, Lauren? Like, does the Zoom just like go away, or is it on?
No, it's not. This isn't my Zoom.
Oh, whose Zoom is this?
No, this is the block party, the collective intelligence block party.
Oh, so we'll just keep on going, and people just come in and out.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
It keeps on going and going and going.
So we really weren't in a hurry.
How much time do we have, Nolan? Another 4 hours?
Oh my God!
Just over, yeah.
Who's gonna be doing the marathon? Because I have a meeting in the morning, so I could do like another 30 minutes or so, and I might have to take a nap.
I think Yamen's coming back in what is it, about 10 minutes? No.
Yeah, a little less actually, which would be awesome because I don't think him and Phalan have met, and I think that would be awesome.
I was just thinking the same thing. I was like, I can't wait for Jamen and Phalan to meet. Like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta wait for.
Yeah.
You gotta wait for Jamen.
I've never. This is my first one that I've stayed on this late.
Really?
Really?
Going, I've never stayed on past 11. This is awesome.
This is your first time, Jackie. I know.
It is.
It's almost 5 o'clock in the morning here. I'm really trooping it, like really hard. Like, this is so bad for me. I have like so much stuff to do, but just the way yesterday developed, this was such a needed excursion.
I'm in the east part of the country too.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I was kind of deep into design right now. Like, I was just like, you know what, just go into this and like forget about the day. And then I ended up realizing that Lauren sent me this link, and she said 12 o'clock. I'm like, oh my God, I'm late. I was like, wait a minute, like they're probably still there. Yeah, you guys will be there for like 20 hours. So
We'll sleep it off tomorrow.
I'm not late. I'm just on time, right?
Yeah.
And then we'll be back Friday doing it all over again. Every Friday, 6 a.m. to 6 a.m.
That is so amazing. This sounds really sweet. And I guess if you have like some really good conversations, it sounds extremely enlightening.
Tuesdays are no cakewalk either.
Tuesday?
That's only an 8-hour meeting though. Those are only our 8-hour meeting days.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you're about to meet the initiator. Jamen is the man.
Oh my God, he's got an energy on him that's infectious. It really is. Go
That's
on.
great. Okay, I have something I want to share. Do you guys mind?
No, not at all.
All right.
Yeah, I know that one.
Know that one?
Yeah, I know that one. Yeah.
Yeah, I know you do. I figure you might like this one. What was it? What else could I share? Trying to think. Um, would anybody else like to share something?
Well, must have listened to thousands of Van Morrison over the years. Thousands.
Yeah, I'm a big fan.
Times.
Yeah, huge Van Morrison fan. I asked you earlier on what your, if you had a period music. I mean, did you listen to music in periods? And the funny thing is that that's exactly what I used to do. Like certain periods of my life were captured by certain albums, and like I'll be hard pressed when I'm earlier on in my life, like when I'm going through some type of transition to find like the soundtrack for it. You know, like what is my music now? You know, what music is like really speaking to me? And I lost that. I don't have that connection to music anymore. I mean, even the old stuff that I listen to, I could acknowledge it, but for some reason, that's something that's lost to me. Like this capturing the zeitgeist, you know, uh, the with the soundtrack. Yeah.
Everything's moving so fast these days. It's not like before, you know.
It does. It really does. And I don't know. Maybe it's the artists too. They're not necessarily like speaking to the collective consciousness anymore. It's probably just all programmed out. I mean, I hear good songs, but they just seem so well constructed like, and they really lack heart, I think.
I have something to share. I'm gonna pull.
Is this? Is that a person?
Yeah, Nolan has something he wants to share.
Hello? Hello, new person.
Oh, hi. Hey, everybody.
Jamen?
Jamen here. How y'all doing?
All right.
Hey,
Hey.
Jason.
Hey, Phalan. You're Charlie's friend, right?
No, I'm Lauren's friend.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. That's right. Okay, but you do know Charlie.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Well, welcome. Super cool. I'm just getting up after a 3-hour nap. Middle of the night nap.
Yeah,
And
I feel like
Phelan, are you in Brooklyn?
yeah, I'm actually in Brooklyn.
Awesome.
So it's
Awesome.
5 o'clock in the morning here. So like my energy, my light bulb is going down a little bit, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
The love light's turned on though.
Uh-huh. Cool. Cool. Very good.
You're still on screen share, Phalan.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Um,
All right. Cool. Awesome. Awesome. And Phelan,
Sharing music.
oh,
We've been
sharing
sharing
music.
music for a while.
Yeah. Cool. Cool. And Phelan, am I saying your name right? Phelan?
Fallon.
Phelan. Phelan. Awesome. And I presume you got to hang with Lauren a bit.
Yeah, we got a chance to hang out.
Oh, that's super cool.
I thought I was late because she told me that it started, that she'd be on around 12 my time. And
Yeah.
I showed up at 1 thinking I was late.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Perfect timing.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah, I've been hearing a lot about you. I hear that you have this infectious spirit.
I don't know if infectious is an adjective I'd like associated with me these days. Oh, check out Jamen, man. He's infectious. Okay, well that's okay.
He's a real corona.
He's a real corona, man.
Put that mask on.
No, everyone loves Jamen because he brings corona to every party.
He brings corona to every party. He has enough to go around.
Plenty.
Enough to share.
Jamen, we were just talking about music. We had this amazing conversation, and then we were talking about art and writing, and then we were sharing some of the visual artists were sharing some of their art, and then some of us read some of our writing, and then we went into music. And Phalan, asked the question of what we all listen to, so we've all been kind of sharing what we listen to, and you're always singing. So I know you love music. You're always singing and dancing. Is there a song that you've been listening to recently that resonates with you that you want to share?
Oh, wow. That's a really great question. Because what a great way of sharing, is to share what you've been listening to. Well, I inherited from my dad the habit of walking around the house just kind of singing whatever. So I love to sing. In fact, that's how Nolan and I met. I was out singing in public in my Darth Vader costume in Seattle, Washington, at the University of Washington.
No way.
Oh yeah.
You met?
Yeah. Yeah, Nolan walks up to this crazy Darth Vader dude, sweating it out in his Darth Vader costume, and with a giant sign that said "Criminal drug cartels out of the state of Washington." That's how we met. Nolan's like, "Yep, you cannot erase that fact from history." That's how we met.
You have to tell Phalan, like, what preceded you standing in public with the sign and the Darth Vader costume? Like, what was that story behind it?
Yeah. It's a hell of a story. So I guess it's probably better if I first tell that story a little bit in pictures. So let me get the right pictures up on the screen here, just to give you. Okay. All right. And it's Phalan, right? That's how you say it, right? Phalan. Okay. All right. So let me screen share here. Okay. So back at the end of 2012, I was precisely working on how do we end hunger, right? And I was working on the problem from different angles, but the goal is to end world hunger. And suddenly the legalization of cannabis was coming to the state of Washington. So I jumped out before anyone else in the state of Washington and publicly announced that I was going to build a brand of cannabis. And I built a brand of cannabis based on the legacy of this man on my left, who is my great grandfather, Diego Pellicer, who was born in Spain and went to the Philippines as vice governor of the island of Cebu in the Philippines in the late 1800s, in the Victorian era. And over time, he became the largest grower of hemp in the world. And so, based on his legacy, I built a brand of cannabis. And I'll just show you some images. So I announced it to the media, and the media came to cover the story, and they were fascinated because I'm ex-Microsoft. So the story of this former Microsoft executive becoming the Bill Gates of bud. So it was quite a story. So the media came to cover, and I gave them a hell of a story. And 2 days later, the Taiwanese, the story went around the world, and this Taiwanese NMA TV, whatever, they created this anime character of me selling cannabis to teenagers or something like that. Anyway, and they're the ones who coined the term the Bill Gates of bud. It was so funny. Anyway, I got invited back to New York to be on Fox News. That was a super cool interview. Then I got invited to the floor of the New York Stock Exchange, where I was interviewed by Deborah Borchardt of The Street, where I announced the .bong era of legalized cannabis. But then when I invited my old friend, former Mexican President Vicente Fox, everything went crazy. The media just couldn't get enough of it. And it's because we took such a progressive stance, not just about legalization state by state, but now we're looking at an international situation, and President Vicente Fox highlighted all the death and destruction in Latin America because of our policy of prohibition in the United States. So here we are. Here we held a press conference announcing our plans for expansion beyond the state of Washington, and we demanded of the Obama administration some clarity. Are you going to let us proceed or not? You know, what is it? And this is, you know, the former head of state of Mexico, our neighbor to the south. So this actually forced the hand of the Obama administration. And this was for us a kickoff of a 4-stop international tour that was the #1 story in Mexico for 2 days straight, especially when we got there and did a 3-day symposium right in Mexico, right in the heart of the drug war. And
this is in 2013.
This is in 2013. Wow. Yeah, in the early days of legalization in the United States. So, and at this convention, we had people from throughout. We invited folks from all the major countries in Latin America and most of the smaller ones, and various European countries. In fact, we had several of the same folks here at the press conference. Here to the left President Fox is Dr. Michael Osborne, who's the president of the Strang Institute for Cancer Prevention in New York City. And they're the ones who developed the Pap smear, which has saved more lives than any other diagnostic treatment for cancer. So he was also with us in Mexico, as was John Davis and a lot of the folks here. And notably, there were representatives from Uruguay at our Mexico symposium. And within a few months, Uruguay became the first country in the world to legalize cannabis. So, and then
the first.
Pardon me?
They were the first.
They were the first. They were the first country to legalize it as a country, right?
Okay.
You know, the state of
Not
Washington.
the Netherlands or.
Well, it's interesting. See, in the Netherlands, it's actually not legal, right? What they've done is they have a policy not to go in and, you know, bust cafes that sell cannabis as long as they don't stray beyond certain bounds. But that's different from actually legalizing it. So Uruguay was actually the first country in the world to legalize it.
Mm-hmm.
And that was huge. So here we are making serious waves on the international, you know, drug front. And so later that year in 2013, as we're going gangbusters, I started to receive death threats from criminal drug cartels, demanding that I get out of the media or they would get rid of me. And, you know, I have family. At the time, my dad was, you know, on a multi-year, you know, end of life trajectory with cancer. My mom has dementia and, you know, a bunch of aging aunts and uncles. And so I wasn't ready to die yet, basically. So I did back down. But that became a real point of conflict for me because my father, years earlier, had taken on the mafia in California, and they tried to kill him. They sent a hitman to kill my dad. Well, my dad beat the crap out of the hitman and sent him back to the mafia as damaged goods. And so they didn't mess with him after that. So I have that legacy, you know, to be responsible for. And so after how long? After almost 3 years of essentially going quiet, right? And, you know, not challenging the drug cartels. My father passed away in 2016. So I then had to look myself in the mirror and say, okay, Dad, Jamen, you don't have the excuse that that you don't want your dad to see you murdered over this. And I had to ask myself, what would my dad have done? And so I went out and got a professional Darth Vader costume. And speaking of music, I can actually sing you a song. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Hey there, Washington, sucking on a joint so fancy free. Nobody you meet could ever see the deadly cartels inside you. Hey there, Washington, why do other states just pass you by? Could it be you just don't try, or is it the drug cartels? You're always window shopping, but no balls to legalize. So shed those dowdy feathers and fly a little bit. Hey there, Washington, there's another Washington Washington inside. Bring out all the love you hide, and oh, what a change there'd be. The world would see a new Washington. Ba-da-da-da-da-da. And then I'd put on my Darth Vader helmet for the musical part, and I'd dance around it. And so here I am at the base of the statue of George Washington at the University of Washington in Seattle, Washington, with a giant, beautiful sign that said criminal drug cartels out of the state of Washington, professionally done, really nice stuff. And so I just went on a campaign, very public. I'm basically like, look, if you guys want to kill me, you're going to have to kill me very publicly, right? So anyway, so I went on that. Oh, there's so Nolan's got a sign there. Yeah, there we go. Thanks, Nolan.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm like drifting in and out. Like the 5:30 in the morning thing is like really hitting me. Like,
Phalan, man, don't be telling me you're gonna whip out on us, man.
I think I would have whipped out because I don't want to be rude and start falling asleep on you guys.
Oh, all right.
I'll come back.
Yeah.
I'll come back. Take you guys out. Like who's in for the long haul? How many hours is left? If I could take an hour nap or something like that, because I want to be present and just like.
Yeah. Hey, we'll be here for another 3.5 hours. So, and then we also meet every Tuesday from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. That's a short meeting. That's just 8 hours. That's just like, you know, and so we have 32 hours per week of public meeting like this, because everyone's welcome to join every week. But anyway, listen, go get some sleep, Phalan, and I'm really glad you're here, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon.
It's great meeting you guys.
All right, thanks so much, Phalan. We'll see you soon. Take care. All right, and we got Melvin and Imre. How's everybody doing? How's it been going? Jackie, look at you. My goodness. Staying up late?
Energized without a nap or anything. I'm just wide awake. It's been great conversations. Every time I felt a little bit tired, does the conversation change and I got like vibed up again. So I'm like, I'm just gonna keep going.
Wow, that's so cool. That's so cool.
I have to ask,
yeah.
Nolan, when you saw this humongous statuesque man standing on the campus with that sign and that costume, what were you thinking? When you approached him, like, what was it? Please tell me the story. It's fascinating.
Well, I think the first time, Jamen was the first time by Suzalo.
That's remember. Exactly right, by Suzalo, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, the first time I think Jamen just had the drug cartels sign. And
no music. I wasn't singing at that time.
Yeah, and no music. And we talked a little bit. I think Guy was with you that day, or he was on campus.
Yeah, Guy McPherson was with me. And I later got him to come down to that place where you showed the picture, which was on Montlake Boulevard. So he and I were down there in the middle of Montlake Boulevard, each with our own drug cartel sign. Yep, Guy McPherson.
I know that. What?
Oh yeah. He joined me for the anti-criminal drug cartel campaign.
Wow.
When asked if he was afraid of repercussions from the drug cartels, Professor McPherson was quoted as saying, hey man, I'm about to die anyway from abrupt climate change. I might as well go out with a bang.
Did he really say that?
I just made that up on the
Oh
spot.
my God. Awesome. I had no idea. Wow.
Yep.
Yeah, so
Yeah, go ahead.
so but I didn't meet Guy that day. I remember you invited me, and I had a class, so I left. And then we saw each other again when you were posted up by the George Washington statue. And that time he had more signs. Remember there's one that had a very pleasant visual of a highway to hell, as I remember you putting it in several media spotlights. Not several. I literally only watched one, but
Here, I'll screen share it just so you guys can see. So anyway, that's on my Facebook page. Just go to my Facebook page and you can see that. And I'm showing, listen, here's a progression away from the death spiral. And what I was proposing at the time, it was because at that time, this is like 2017, summer of 2017. So like nobody was interested in climate change at the time in any big way. So what I said was, all right, look, if you're not interested in climate change, how about criminal drug cartels, right? Nobody likes criminal drug cartels. And so I said, look, here's the path forward. And I had also just read George Marshall's book, Don't Even Think About It, Why Our Brains Are Wired to Ignore Climate Change. And so it was just like, what's it going to take? And so that poster shows this concept of, shows us down on this death spiral to hell, to a hot world. And then it shows an off ramp, which has 3 stages. Number 1, take out criminal drug cartels as a first step of towards taking out all forms of organized crime. And then the 3rd stage is including organized crimes against Mother Earth, right? Because in George Marshall's book, he convincingly argued pretty much the best way to get humans up in arms and, taking something on is if they have an enemy tribe. So I said, great, criminal drug cartels, the perfect enemy tribe. Because no one was covering climate change. So I said, all right, well, why don't you cover this crusade against organized crime? And then we get the conversation going about organized crime. And then I say, all right, the biggest organized crimes are those committed against our own Mother Earth, right? So anyway, that was the colorful poster Nolan was referring to.
Nolan, were you already an activist at this time when you met? Were you already into the environmental awareness, veganism? Where did all that play in with you meeting Jamen and joining in on this endeavor?
Well, veganism was not on my radar at all, really. I wasn't incredibly invested convinced or passionate about climate change, although I was not a I was not a denier or a fence sitter, but I wasn't like in the streets. And I don't know, I was doing a fair amount of questioning the larger narratives at play, and I had a habit for basically trying to start conversations with my friends that they didn't want to get into about stuff that they figured like was kind of outside of our influence. And yeah, and I remember just not totally getting what Jamen was throwing down, but I was like, there's I don't know, I guess I was hearing something beyond just the words, I guess. It's a way of putting that. And we didn't talk after that though. We for like 2.5 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you saying you met with the Darth Vader costume and then jumped 2.5 years and then the story picks up?
Yeah. Yeah. Because apparently Jamen was reaching out to he was sending somebody else an email, but then my email popped up and he was like, oh, I remember Nolan, I'll just shoot him an email. And then we emailed a little bit and talked on the phone, and then I went to the social club, and then we talked after the social club for many hours, and then repeated that for several days. And yeah.
Yeah. Let me
I
ask.
love origin stories.
Let me ask you guys something. Were you guys worried about Planet X?
We're worried about what?
Were you guys worried about Planet X?
Please elaborate. What is Planet X?
Nibiru.
I'm sorry?
Nibiru.
Could you say that in English instead of French Canadian?
Nibiru. Planet X. The black star. The incoming Mayan. The Anunnaki. They were saying it's coming back. 2012 was going to be the end. And, it was going to pass by. We're going to have a pole shift. You had to be at a certain elevation, otherwise you'd have these mile high tidal waves that would sweep over the land. As it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be. And you don't remember all that talk way back, I guess. No, Elenin, the Elenin days. It was coming in, but it was an operation by the government. I guess you guys missed that, right? Everybody was Everyone was bugging out back in 2012, looking for underground shelter in the Ozarks. Terrell Croft, doesn't ring a bell. Black Star.
I'm familiar with it.
Those were the days of Pal Talk. You know, Pal Talk was a big thing. It was kind of like Zoomish in a way, but it was Pal Talk. It's kind of Skypey, but you know, you could go into Pal Talk and chat with people, and you know, you put your hand up if you wanted to talk and whatnot. It was very much ahead of its time, kind of. But now it's more. Now it went into video, so Pal Talk's a dinosaur. Scott Owen, you remember him? He's a geologist. He's talking about all the earthquake activity that was ramping up. It was all because of, you know, like there was a shifting of the planets at the axis of the earth and whatnot. It's all real stuff. You can look it up. I guess you might have to go to the Wayback Machine on Google to find.
Yeah, I remember.
Things.
Yeah, I remember in 2012 some chatter about the end of the world and stuff like that.
Yeah, but there were some really very intelligent people talking about it and being. That was when people were beginning to get shut down. You know, not being able to come forward and talk about these kind of things. A lot of the earth changes and the nuclear business, you know, and they just got progressively worse when Fukushima came around. You know, of course, we went through 9/11 and all that business. So there's been a lot of sidetrack issues over the years. And of course, now we got Dos Equis and all the rest of it. But you know, Scott Owen was like a Guy McPherson type of guy, very smart. Finished university when he was like about 12 years old. You know, very. I'm exaggerating, but he was the go-to guy for info. He burnt out. He burnt out, so you don't hear much from him now. Scott Owen, you can look him up. If maybe they washed all, maybe they, I don't know what they did with all his info. Believers Underground. Yeah, sorry, I can't be any more eloquent about it right now. You know, it is after all like you know, going on 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, you're sounding pretty eloquent for somebody who's been in a meeting for 21 hours straight.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, Jackie's first time, I didn't, I was, you know, motivated to stick around. And of course, you know, Phalan, he was an interesting, very interesting too.
Yeah, did you guys talk with Phalan about, you know, Brooklyn Eats and stuff like that?
I don't think we got into that, Jackie? We got on the artsy music stream there for a while.
Yeah, I think we touched on it. I think we introduced the idea, told him about it. And it's synchronistic because he's working on a project that he was initiating called Brooklyn DAO, I think. That it was like, okay, we need to talk. And then the conversations just kind of just led in different directions. But we did introduce it. I was very excited. I'm like, you're in Brooklyn? What? Another connection.
But I think it was earlier today that Charlie was on and he said, oh, I have connections in Brooklyn and they're starting a DAO. And but I don't know if he actually reached out to
Yeah. He sent an email introduction to me and Phalan.
Oh, okay.
And he said, I think Phalan will probably join, you know, the block party. You know, that was like 20 hours ago or something like that.
He enjoyed the little video I made of him. I made a little vid during our meeting. So he liked it.
Yeah, and we shared some music and it sounded like he needed that today, so that was cool. I was glad to. We'll definitely see him again. We'll talk with him again. So.
Awesome. Oh, the people that you meet in the neighborhood, Da, 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 da. See, Jackie, you're experiencing the magic of the late night hours on the block party, right? And you know, just like a real block party, if you're sticking around, it's like 4 a.m, you're drinking warm beer, you know, you kind of get into this, you know, you kind of get into this other dimension, right? This kind of twilight zone. And then, you know, Imre starts recounting stuff from conspiracy theories from yesteryear, and we all just go like, oh, we're all sitting around the campfire, and you know.
Oh, you gotta tell me something though. Be honest now. When it comes Sunday, do you rewind to see what happened for those 5 hours? We're gone.
I have to tell you the truth.
No way.
I haven't done that yet. Because come Sunday, the last thing on my mind, I just haven't done it yet. Like, I'll ask Nolan for a recap, and he'll give me a little recap, and I'm like, cool, awesome.
You missed some gems.
Tonight.
No, I mean, you're not getting the full story.
All right, Nolan. Okay, well, Nolan and I are going to have to talk then.
And then Imre and I will talk.
No, but I typically don't talk all that much now. You know, I'm relatively quite quiet. I listen a lot.
Honestly, this is so much fun. I feel like I'm hanging out after a party with like my cousins and my brothers. And we're all just like, everybody's gone. And now it's the after party. We're just kind of all sitting down, unwinding and just discussing. I just love it. I just love it.
Totally. That's it. That's it. And it wouldn't be a full proper block party if we weren't drinking warm beer at 4:30 in the morning, eating stale potato chips. Right? That reminds me, there's this there's like this dive bar way up north on what is it? It's like Greenwood and 85th or something like that. It's called the is it the Benioff or Bernioff or something like that. Anyway, it's this dive bar that's open until like 5 in the morning, and they've got this sign out in the window, and it says, warm beer, cold food, and bad service. Beware of pickpockets and loose women. That's the sign outside this bar, this dive bar. Warm beer, cold food, and bad service. Beware of pickpockets and loose women. Why did I mention that? Oh yeah, that's right. I was talking about warm beer. Anyway, so they've got the same spirit as us, basically. No, but really, the cool thing is, it wouldn't be a proper block party if you don't just stay up until dawn, right? You're missing out.
James will be showing up with the warm tea.
Oh yeah,
any minute now.
From warm beer to warm tea, welcome to the block party.
Honestly speaking, I haven't been around a group of people that I've wanted to like stay up all night with in a long time. I love my family and friends, but so many of us, we get up at the crack of dawn, so they're like 8, 9 o'clock, everyone's unwinding. And sometimes I get this hypomania where I just like can't sleep, but it's not insomnia, it's just like that charge. And it's like, there's no one I want to hang out with. I'm like, man, it's happening tonight. This is perfect, because these are the people I want to hang out with at 4 in the morning.
Just wait, Kushbu will be here too.
Oh no. I'm out of here, man. Kushbu's gonna show up. No, and this is the cool thing.
We were feeding the pigeons. We were doing the pigeons. She came just in time, just in the nick of time for the pigeons. Last time.
No, this is the cool thing. It's like, we'll just have the craziest mix of people, right? And the thing is, like, the first 8 block parties, I didn't take a midnight nap. I just freaking powered through. Yeah. And so in the wee morning hours, I'd just be like, ugh. And like the very first block party, February 14th, the night before, I'm like scrambling to get all this stuff done. I got like, I don't know, 3 hours of sleep, and then a 24-hour block party. And so by the wee hours, I would just get into this weird kind of trans hypnotic state, and we're just like going on and on. And then I just, take a few bong hits and get a little burst of energy.
calling crows pigeons at 5:30 and at 6 o'clock in the morning. Yeah,
I'm just glad
I meant to say crows. I'm thinking feeding, mostly pigeons in our neck of the woods.
Yeah. Anyway, no, so we've just had some amazing experiences, these super late night hours. And I actually think the block party is an important historical archive, because at the first block party, there wasn't talk of Dos Equis or anything like that. We're all talking about climate change and this and that. And then as the weeks progressed, it's like, okay, there's something going on in China. Oh, there was some cruise ship. Oh, and then it just exponentiated. So this, I wouldn't be surprised if this is the single longest format recurring. Al Gore will do a 24-hour thing like once a year. Well, we do it once a week. So, this may be the only recurring 24-hour event, every weekly 24-hour event.
I got to tell you something. I've been noticing people catching on and doing 12-hour ones. And they're not up to speed yet for the 24 hours. I think it's just a little bit out of reach for most, right? But I see the 12-hour ones now coming more often.
Yeah, from a marketing standpoint, we were like, all right, let's do this collective intelligence block party, and we thought about it. And as soon as the idea hit to do it as a 24-hour thing, there was just no turning back, right? Because we knew that would blast its way into the mind, right? That you hear about that, it's like, what the hell are they doing for 24 hours? I got to check this out, if for no other reason than to, I don't know what.
Yeah, but it all changed. You know when it changed? When you started taking your 5 hours.
Tell me about the change, Imre. What was that like for you?
Started to take the 5 hours.
Yeah. So I understand that was the moment that it changed. But how would you describe the change? Like, what was?
No, it's okay. Don't feel bad. It's not like you're not here for 5 hours. So it's like, it's not quite 24 hours. It's 19 hours.
Well, look, the block party is 24 hours.
But it's 24. But, in the beginning, it was a solid 24.
Yeah, for like 8 weeks in a row. It was just like, but the thing is, it's one thing to do that 8 weeks in a row. It's another thing to do it 52 weeks out of the year. It just becomes a bit much, because it's not just staying up all night. It's leading it. It's moderating it, right? And and we've had a good. Yeah, go ahead.
You remember the beginning, though. I mean, you have to. You'll never forget the beginning.
Oh, how could I forget?
You'll never forget that, right? Because you were there for straight 24 hours. I saw you and Nolan hugging each other. Okay, remember that?
I remember the good old days. I remember it very well. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
I rewatched part of one recently.
What was that like?
It was interesting. I watched it at 2x speed, and it was totally fine because it was in the middle of the night, so we were just. It was
Yeah, yeah.
perfect actually to
You watch
watch
it
it
at
double
2x
speed.
speed. In normal speed, Emery's like, yeah, and Jamin's like, yeah, and but you watch it 2x, like, it sounds like a normal conversation. Yeah.
Oh boy.
That's what I'm talking about.
Can you tell me when was that moment where the 24-hour block party was born? Like, what was happening around that time that came to that?
Oh yeah, totally. So I'll share my experience, and then Nolan, please share your perspective. But we were let's just say that Jamen was partying. I think it's fair to say I was on a trip. Let's put it that way. And so and in the middle of the trip, Nolan reads this white paper that Lauren had written about collective intelligence. And I think she and Charlie had probably collaborated on it, but it's probably mostly Lauren. We hadn't even met Lauren at that point, but we had met Charlie. And so Nolan's reading me the white paper, and it was essentially this indictment of, I don't know if indictment's too strong a word, but it was a critique of humanity not getting it together, not getting the collective intelligence together. And part of the reason that was cited is we're too fragmented, and people don't want to like merge together and this and that under one whatever. And it was like, my goodness, it just hit the nail on the head. I'm sure the white paper is still up there on the Kiko Lab website somewhere. Great paper. And so here I am pacing around at, like, I don't know, 4 a.m, or whatever, just getting all amped up about this. And it's like, you know what? We've got to get people together. We got to get everyone together who's doing anything related to collective intelligence. We need to get everyone together, and it's like, but we hadn't. Oh, okay. So, so this was a few days before that, actually. A few days before. Okay, before we came up with the block party concept, we first had the concept of just getting everyone together and having these big general meetings on collective intelligence and making it public and just mixing it up already. And then, so we had that meeting late at night. And then a couple days later on Tuesday, Solution Club, Charlie showed up, and we're like, hey, Charlie, we got this idea of, getting everyone together who's doing anything with collective intelligence and just talking with each other about it, just sharing. And he's like, oh, I know. Yeah. Oh, I see. Kind of like a collective intelligence block party. And we're like, that's it. And so then I think it was like the next Saturday night, I don't know what I was smoking or eating or whatever then, but it was another crazy long night. And I was like, all right, Nolan, here's what we got to do. I'm like pacing around again. I'm like, we got to do a 24-hour collective intelligence block party. And and I was just, and it was like, well, and Nolan was like, well, what would we do in those 24 hours? I said, look, we'll make an agenda. And instead of bullet points, we're going to have crushed beer cans, damn it. Because I was just like, this ain't going to be pretty, but we're just going to fucking get out there and we're going to do it. And, with crushed beer cans and all, we'll just, it'll just be a gritty, greasy, dirty, smelly 24-hour block party. All right. And then we'll do it we had committed to doing it every week before we had done our first one. Right. We basically committed to marrying the girl before we'd even met her. Right. boy, were we in for a surprise. But it's like, listen, holy shit, the world's going down. Am I going to worry about staying up all night? You know, I think I got bigger problems than having to stay up all night. And so we started to hash out an agenda. I still have the notes. You know, we had these big 11 by 17 sheets of paper, and I'm just drawing these pictures, you know, about the block party. And it's like the first agenda, I just literally drew a crushed beer can for each bullet point, you know. And we just hashed out an agenda in like 5 minutes. I'm like, we'll talk about climate change. We'll talk about SRM. We'll talk about this. We'll talk about that. And, you know, we just kind of said, let's just freaking do it, you know, and just see who shows up. And the cool thing is, all right, now some 12-hour, you know, eeny weeny, you know, some 12-hour stuff is starting to pop up according to Imre. But I said, look, see, from a marketing standpoint, it's about staking a claim and then defending it, right? So now, the Collective Intelligence Block Party, we own Fridays. All day long, all night long. We own that shit. And because it's 24 hours, it's totally international friendly. I don't care what country you're in. You can be in Iceland, you can be in Zimbabwe, I don't care. It sweeps the same 24 hours for every clock, right? And so it just makes it totally international friendly, and you know, you just can't ignore it. You may not show up right away, but you cannot ignore it. So yeah, anyway,
I'm gonna drive up and join you for the next brainstorming session. I want to be part of that party.
Oh, it's so fun. Well, but see, the cool thing is now it happens here on the block party, so you are part of that party every week.
Yeah, it's a good thing this is being recorded because this is gonna make for the most perfect intro video. You're gonna go back and you're gonna work on this last 5-minute segment because it's good. It's perfect. I didn't record it, so you know I can't do it, but when you get it on the YouTube there, or you know, this is good material. The best.
Hey, speaking of which, is this one single recording, Nolan, or have you broken it up at all?
We're an hour into the second recording.
Oh, okay, cool. So you've done 2 recordings tonight. Okay, good to know. Okay, cool.
This one's a keeper. This one's a keeper for sure.
But again, if you go back to the the perspective of historical archive, right, 100 years from now, when historians are looking back on this bottleneck, right, you got climate change, you got Dos Equis, you got all this crazy stuff, you know, here is one 24-hour, every week we get together for 24 hours and go just super long form on all this stuff, right? I think it's a heck of a treasure, right, of an archive. If I were that historian, I'd be fascinated, right? Because otherwise you just get, you know, you get a tweet here, you know, soundbite there, or this and that, whatever. Okay. But, you know, you don't really get into the people's heads until you hang out with them for 24 hours.
But just wait until the food starts rolling out. Once the food starts rolling out, then you're going to see some talk.
Well, no, you're absolutely right, because people are going to say, you know, how did they do it? And we'll say, well, we just got together every Friday on the block party until we got it all figured out, right?
Jackie's on point on this one.
Yeah. Once we start rolling out the food, that's when everything just, oh my goodness. Yeah.
But that's what makes it a real party. You cannot
Yeah.
party. You can have the drinks and stuff. You bring out the food. You know, that's the party. You just bring out.
And you know what? You know what we ought to do in Brooklyn? Let's say we do the press conference, right? And then we start delivering all this food, and the camera and the media and everything's following around the trucks and all that, and it's just like a thing. Either that night or the next night, maybe the next night, because Thursday is the best day to do the press conference. I learned about that in my Diego Pellicer days. But so let's say we do the press conference on a Thursday. By the end of Thursday, because we'll have gotten up early and media, this, that, the other, then all the deliveries and interviews and all that. Let's get a good night's sleep Thursday night, and then Friday, block party, 24-hour Brooklyn block party, right? Celebrating.
Yeah, I want to ask you something.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought I made a pretty decent suggestion about donations. You seemed like you liked the idea, but I thought it was a pretty interesting concept, for to have that integrated into the press conference, right? Like I was trying to get a visualization where, it's Stone Soup, Operation Stone Soup, and we're getting the donations, like it's like the operation of is receiving donations, but everyone is bringing their stone for the soup. It's a symbolic thing to show how powerful that is, and if you can roll out the barrels and barrels and barrels of beautiful stones, right? All the contributions, all the aspirations of the people of Brooklyn, from around the world, from around the country, sending in their stone for support. But I mean, not to mention it could be an attachment associated with it, maybe $1 or $2, right?
I like the idea. What's coming to mind is a giant glass bowl that's as close as we can find to the shape of the original Stone Soup pot, right? You imagine this big black cast iron pot, right, of the original Stone Soup. Well, imagine a giant glass bowl, right, that you go to the dentist's office and there's some big glass thing and it's full of like white rocks or something like that, and then a piece of bamboo sticking out of it or something like that. Okay. Imagine a giant glass bowl that we fill with the most beautiful stones that you're talking about, Imre, that have been donated to this project and that some people will even mail from around the world, right? We won't get a P.O. box in Brooklyn. We'll get a P.O. rocks for all the rocks that are going to be coming in from around the world. And then we put all these stones in this giant glass thing, right? And then the media will be like, and we'll have a list of all the countries that have sent stones in and all that, right?
Yeah.
And then we'll have James there, right, with a big thing of beer saying, "Ay, ay, ay, ay. The Blarney stone brings a tear to my eye." And it'll be like this big, shiny, radioactive green Blarney stone from Ireland that James will have brought over.
So you see the stones. You see the stones over here. We got hearts on them. You see that?
We see it, Emery. Good. I love it. Yeah.
You know, that was the idea. You know,
Yeah. No, I'm
beautiful
digging this idea.
stones.
A giant glass, you know, like essentially punch bowl, but you know, again, make it as close as you can to that steel pot, right? And you know, there's gazillions of things made out of glass, so it shouldn't be too hard to find something. Yeah. Yeah, I love it, Emery. Good stuff, man.
Yeah. Easier said than done, I guess.
Yeah. But it's interesting. It all starts with a conversation, and the block party is just this cauldron of bubbling up ideas and bouncing around, in an atmosphere not of just casual chit chat, but of commitment. We are committed to saving life on Earth, whatever that's going to take, and it's taken us on quite a journey, right?
Well, I'll tell you, personally, me, I'm in such physical pain right now. I'm taking medication there, and it doesn't seem to be helping much. But I'm in such pain, really, like my bones and my joints and everything. And I'm not in good shape, you know. So as far as helping out in any physical way, you know, I'm really a write-off. But
Listen, Emery, this is coming from one of the pillars of the collective intelligence block party, going back to the very beginning. I mean, there were times when it was just like you, me, Nolan, then James would show up after getting a little sleep, you, me, Nolan, and James. And so, you know, physically, you're here physically, bro. You're doing great.
I do what I can, but you know, I'm on the verge a lot of time.
On the what? On the what, Emery?
I'm on a verge a lot of time too, you know. Doesn't show, but
no, it's okay. I'm a virgin too, Emery. I get it. It's okay. I'm just kidding. Sorry.
verge.
I know. I was just trying to be funny. See, when it's 4 in the morning, that's another cool thing about the block party. After 3 a.m., anything goes. And we actually talked about this.
Well, you know, when you got dentures, it's hard to speak even clearly. It's not like I got my real teeth anymore, and I had issues. So, but that's what it is. It is what it is.
It is what it is, you know, and the reality is we are one ragtag species at this point that's been through 10,000 years of total bullshit. It's kind of a miracle we're still alive. And, you know, so, you know, Emery, we're all banged up. We're all, you know, that's not to minimize what you've shared, but, you know, we're, especially in the last few months, it's just become so clear that humanity is just so lost, right? And if we're gonna get it together, it started with the block party, and then we're taking the party to Brooklyn with Stone Soup, and we're feeding everybody. And I mean, this is just so clearly the way out of darkness for us.
So you're gonna get an RV and drive out there. Jamen, what do you think?
We'll talk logistics.
You can do like a promotional tour, or it could be.
I like that idea. You know imagine Darth Vader.
You could decorate the RV with like beautiful stones
and then imagine Darth Vader surfing on top of the RV as we drive across the country at 60 miles an hour, you know, singing Spanish love songs. But we'll talk logistics more in a minute. Jackie, you got something to say? Go for it, Jackie.
I just wanted to share with Imre that today I was told by someone much younger than you that's in really bad shape, a lot of arthritis, a lot of illness, battling disease, that told me there's so much pain that there's just nothing more that they can contribute, because we were talking about we don't have time, we should all be focused on this. And I was told, thank you for my efforts, and go do what I have to do and go save the planet. And here you are with all of your ailments, with all of your pain, you're still here contributing what you can to save the planet. So to minimize your contribution is a disservice to you, because there's so many more people that are younger, struggling, but have that will and that energy, and are sending me off with blessings to go save the world. And here you are present with us at this time. So please don't minimize your contribution. It's priceless.
Look, Jackie, it's not that I wish to do that. I'm just talking like I'm pointing out a reality of my own personal moment of reality. I'm just saying that I hate taking drugs, any kind of drugs, and I've been forced to take drugs for the past 2 years, going on 2 years now, because of a heart problem too, and then I've got this other issue on the side that's very painful. I don't want to take the Tylenols and all this business, because it's really bad for you. I know it's bad for me. And I'm anti-vaccine and all this. So you know what I mean? Like I really hate being in this position. So, but I understand that by taking the drugs for this condition, I've improved my condition to where I was like 15%. Now I'm like 45% back to where, maybe it'll improve a little bit more. I don't know, but I'm feeling it. That's all I was trying to get across. But I'm here. I do what I can. And I see others doing much more, and I wish for the best.
It's the story of Stone Soup. Everyone's contributing what they can. And just look at like last week. Here we are talking, kicking around. What kind of name? What should we call it? What should we call it? You're like, Brooklyn Eats, right? 2 words. That's it.
Well, it's a singularity, right?
That's it. This is the singularity. And the press conference will be the singularity within the singularity. That's where the world will get the bam, the headline, like a ton of bricks. There is a solution. And because there is a solution, that will give most of humanity finally psychic permission to acknowledge the problem. Because right now people can't face the problem because there's no solution, right? And I just thought of a great analogy for that, which is death itself, right? Jackie, you're going to die someday. What are you going to do about it? Well, look, there's nothing I can do about it, so I'm just going to fucking live my life today and tomorrow and the day after that. And that's basically been humanity's response to abrupt climate change. There's nothing I can do about it, so I'm just going to live my life, and hopefully science will figure it out, right? Okay, great. Well, guess what? Here's a solution you can actually participate in. And at the press conference, we're going to come out freaking, you know, guns a-blazing, saying, look, what we're presenting here is the solution to 3 major problems in front of us: pandemics, hunger, malnutrition, you know, famine, and exponential planetary overheating, right? We've got a cluster mess, right, of these 3 venomous snakes in the snake pit, all coming after us at once. And there's one solution, and it's called Operation Stone Soup. And here's how it works. We're starting right here in Brooklyn. We're going to feed everybody. Everyone's getting on board. We say it like a thing. It's happening now. Everyone is getting on board. And in the process, we're creating a planetary collective superintelligence. And with that, we feed everyone and end pandemics. Boom, boom. All right, sure. All right, Einstein, what are you going to do about planetary overheating? Well, with collective superintelligence, we can now finally figure out all the ways to roll out all the solutions that we need, like the Mirror Reflection project at Harvard, led by Dr. Ye Tao, right? Brilliant solution. How the heck are you going to do it? You know, how are you going to get the support for it? How are you going to get the funding? How are you going to get to this, to that, to that? That's a problem. That's all one giant basket of problems for collective superintelligence to figure out. That's how we're going to cool the planet. Einstein.
We went over that bridge, Jamen. We looked at that mirror thing. I think there were some understandings that we came to some kind of understanding about it, but I don't know.
Well, look, we've done some very high level analysis as to how much glass it would take to do the mirror reflection, and I've made the point from the very beginning that there's way more economical ways to reflect sunlight back into space than creating these, you know, expensive floating glass-based mirrors, like thin film reflective materials. But really, it's
now you're talking.
Yeah, now I'm talking. Yeah, I know, because we need to get to millions of square miles of reflectivity ASAP. And collective superintelligence is going to figure out every last nut, bolt, and screw to hold this whole thing together and get it rolled out in time. And we'll say all this at the press conference, right? Here's how this works. Everyone's coming together. We're feeding everyone, and collective superintelligence will emerge from all these people working together cooperatively in harmony, all on the same mission, right? It has a very simple premise: 100% plant-based, everybody eats, immune boosting, full nutrition, full spectrum nutrition. That's it, simple. And people who come together around that mission, we're like already just so in sync. Right? Well, what a great filter, right? What a great filter. You know, we've all been to events, parties, concerts, whatever, where it's just like this super cool whatever, right? They just got the right mix of the theme and the music and the food and the location and everything. And you go there and you're just like, this is awesome. That's what we're talking about with this whole planetary movement. Because with Operation Stone Soup, it attracts the right people, right?
The connections.
That's it. And so, you know, the first 1 million people who are online working on Operation Stone Soup, volunteering, and we've got this massive roster of meetings and this and that. That's the beginning of collective superintelligence right there. Going big. And we'll just say it. This is what we're doing. This is the solution. And no one will be able to argue with us, because for the first time ever, we're feeding Brooklyn. All of Brooklyn.
Hey, did you see that video from Rehan?
From who?
From Rehan? What's his from Pakistan? The video.
Oh. Yeah, the one that you shared a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, did you see the video? That I put the video over what I sent you, but he was explaining how your words, when you say them, what happens. Did you catch that in the video? That was an extremely interesting video. You should dig it up.
Which video?
Here, why don't I forward that email, Imre, to Jackie and Nolan. That way we're all on the same page there.
Yeah. I think I could play it. Mind you, I don't know if I got the whole thing. But I got the kind of the gist of it.
Yeah. Okay, here, let me see if I can pull that up.
Yeah, you could play the link. The link will play it.
Okay. All right. Let me see.
Everyone, how are you? Hello, everyone. How are you doing?
Okay. Let me screen share that. Okay, you guys see that okay? All right.
We conducted a small experiment. We duplicated it what Dr. Kyoto taught us from Japan. The research says that words and emotions and thoughts and even writing affect human beings and affect the water. Because human beings are 70% water, you can see that what kind of reaction is happening to the water. So all we did was we took 3 bottles of water, 3 bottles, empty bottles, and put 3 cups of rice in each of them and put water in it. And we wrote some words on it. So we wrote, we love you, we hate you, and this one is abandoned. We didn't do anything with it. We just kept it in the corner there, and we just let it be. So after 2 weeks, actually 14 days, you can see that this the water's color has started to change. You can also do this with boiled rice. You don't need water then. You just take some boiled rice and put it here and do the same thing. And you don't have to write these words. You can write other words which you use very often, which you think are good, and you can write words which are bad, and then you can see the result. These are the tests, the first test which we are doing. We will start doing this with other words also. So what will happen is that the water will absorb the words, and then changing the crystal. So if you freeze a droplet and then watch it under the microscope, you will see that the transformation of the crystal is here it will be beautiful, here it will be ugly, here it will be uglier. And you can watch a documentary on this subject on rehanwater.com and see for yourself what's going on. So the learning from this is that we need to stop thinking, we need to stop saying, we need to stop writing bad words in any form, because these bad words are affecting our own self, they're affecting our environment, they're affecting our water, because we are 70% water, and it's affecting everything in our body. It's affecting our children, it's affecting our families, it's affecting our culture, it's affecting our nation, it's affecting our world. The world is 70% water. So we need to be careful on what we say, when we say, and whom do we say, because our thoughts becomes our words, and then our words become our action. Therefore, we need to be very careful in what we say, and we eliminate the negativeness from our words, from our thoughts. Once we do that, our bodies, our countries will become beautiful. As you can see yourself, that the negative words are not helping anyone. If you find a problem, for example, Prophet Muhammad said that if you find when you're eating and you find that there's less salt in the food, just eat it or just add it yourself. So you don't have to complain about spoil, which is available all around us. It will look ugly. And it doesn't take hours to do that. It just takes few words. Just imagine somebody says a bad word to you. What happens to your entire body?
Hey, Jamen, it's cutting out for me. I'm not sure you shared your computer audio.
Oh, yeah, I thought I did. Yeah, I did share computer sound, but anyway, but I think we got the main gist of that. I'd actually seen this thing about water before on that documentary, What the Bleep Do We Know?
It's based on Dr. Emoto's work.
Yeah. So that's been published in different documentaries and whatnot, but super powerful stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, he was quite eloquent, though, the way he explained it in his presentation. It was it had a good impact for me.
Anyway, I emailed that to both Jackie
Right.
and Nolan. Yeah. Awesome. Thanks, Imre. Good stuff.
But the reason I brought it up was for what he said there in his response to me. You know.
Hey, he said, "I don't know how I can help."
Yeah, like, oh, that kind of surprised me. You know, so I left it there. That's when I said, well, I'm gonna send it to you and then get some feedback about it and see what, like, how would I respond even? Like, you know, I don't know. I wanted to put you two together.
Yeah. And I think we're getting closer and closer to the point where we'll have like a 3-minute video where we can just say it all in 3 minutes, right? Kabam, here it is. And so remember last week on the block party, we were talking about, okay, well, you know, what are the next steps? And I said, well, here's the 1, 2, 3 that I propose. Step number 1 is master this conversation. This conversation about the conversation. How do we save life on Earth? Because keep in mind, Operation Stone Soup is but one of the children to be birthed out of the conversation. How do we save life on Earth? And that's not a conversation that people are having. It's too scary, it's too big, it's too overwhelming, it's not my problem, it's somebody else's problem, so nobody goes there, right? How do we save life on Earth? Well, we're going there. And out of it came Operation Stone Soup. And a bunch of other stuff will come out of it as we embrace the conversation, right? So the big pillars in all this for me are the conversation, Operation Stone Soup, feeding everyone, ending hunger, malnutrition, pandemics, etc., collective superintelligence, and SRM. But it all starts with the conversation. That's what finally puts proper context to our existence here on this planet at this time, the conversation. We're not here to, you know, hoard or have fun or be hedonists. We're here to save life on Earth. That's the mission.
A little music now and then, it helps.
Oh, yeah. No, definitely. All these things are good. And see, that's why we have a block party. Music, food, friends, fun, joking around, hanging out, getting into it. It all goes together.
And I think also the more people get to know one another, you know, to see that, you know, that that's a possibility that you could, you know, actually get closer to people, you know, and accomplish things.
Yeah, in the right culture, in the right context, which is what we're doing here. And because we've created a culture and a context where you can actually feel good about just showing up and just contributing as you are, coming from wherever you're coming from. And the rules are simple and they're unwritten. And the unwritten rule is basically just come with love and compassion and honesty and openness, right? And we've had a few instances of people who've shown up with something different from that, right? Trying to bully or this or that or whatever, and they're just they're not the right match. And we've had to discover that, and we've had to discover and co-create how to deal with that, right? And that's been an ongoing adventure, fresh. But now that we've matured a bit, this is block party number 14. That's a lot of block parties. We're now well over 300 hours of block parties accumulated. So when you do something for a lot of hours, you start to get good at it. Right? And that's exactly what's happening here. And so we are pouring in the hours. We have just opened up the spigot, and we're just pouring in the hours on this long overdue process of humanity coming together and figuring out a way to come together and a way to work together. What's the right context? What's the right culture? What's the right intention, etc.? And we just keep at it until we've got it. And look at the progress, right?
I predict your hours. I predict that your hours are going to triple at least.
Well, can you be more precise? What do you mean my hours are going to triple? What do you mean?
I don't want to scare you.
Huh?
You know, I don't want to scare you. You know, after all, you do want to build the Google. You know, so but I'm just saying, in 24 hours, it's going to triple.
Well, actually, it's funny. From at the very get-go, even before we had our very first block party, it was so funny. I was like, okay, we'll do the block party, Friday, Saturday. And then for the 24 hours preceding the block party, we'll have the tailgate party. Woo! And then for the 24 hours following the block party, we'll have the after party. Woo! So 72 hours of nonstop party. Woo! But actually, I was actually serious when I said that, because not that we would stay up for 72 hours straight, heaven forbid, but that the conversation would be rolling, right? And then imagine, and I even at one point, this was before the first block party, Nolan, you probably remember this. I was like, oh, I know. It's like Nolan and Jamie and I were talking. I was like, Nolan, I know. You can stay up for the 24 hours of the tailgate party, and then you tag me in, and then I'll do the 24 hours of the block party, and then we'll tag in Jamie, and he can do the after party. It was just crazy. I mean, sometimes when I get really excited, I'll say stupid things, as Nolan can attest. And Nolan was just like looking at me, and I was like, oh, okay, bad idea, right? But listen. But once the block party is just this institution and this, that, the other, you know, there's like thousands of people coming and going, breakout rooms and all kinds of stuff, there will be positive pressure to create the Thursday tailgate party for 24 hours. Someone will take it on. And you see, that way we go 24-hour block by block until you fill up the whole week. 24/7 collective superintelligence. So this is the starting seed crystal of 24/7 collective superintelligence. This is it right here.
Yeah. Well, we gotta watch the burnout factor, you know. You gotta take care, you know. I mean,
Well,
I
yeah.
think the 24 hours is great, you know, but there's work to be done, you know. Keep that in mind. So if you're spending too much time on the Zoomy, you know, you can't be doing that either.
Well,
So, you know, your presence is needed in other areas also. So you don't want to burn out before you get there.
yeah, no, I appreciate that. And that's, you know, that was the main motivation behind the 5-hour break, right? For me anyway. And then, you know, Nolan's able, you know, Nolan could crash out now if he was tired enough, and he rests before he takes on his 5-hour shift and all that. So, you know, we're figuring out a way to, you know, to not burn out. But, you know, that wasn't worked out in advance. At first, we're just like, we just got to do this. Speaking of burnout, the whole planet's about to burn out, right? I'd rather burn out myself than burn out the entire planet and all 8 billion people and gazillion species and everything else. That's the real tragedy, right? So, but your point's definitely well taken. And, you know, since you raised it, Imre, for me personally, you know, my 2 big time commitments every week that I make sure I do not fail are the block party and the solution club. And add that all up, and for no fewer than 25 of those 32 hours, I'm moderating. I'm on point currently, right? And that's 25 hours a week is a lot of hours a week to be moderating a meeting over video conference. Like when we did VCI, you know, going back a couple of months, 2 or 3, 4 months ago, Anne, who was moderating the 2-hour VCI meeting once a week, said that this 2-hour meeting is a real, you know, it's a real energy sink, right? You spend way more than 2 hours of energy moderating, you know, that 2-hour meeting. For me, it's something I love to do. I just love it. Does it take energy? Of course it takes energy. You know, and after a 24-hour block party, I kind of just goof off a lot of the rest of the weekend, you know. But what ends up happening is I start brainstorming even more, because this is all just really great input, you know, that's right at the dead center of what we're focused on. So for me, it's a dream come true, right? That we can all, you know, get together from different parts of the world, and see, that's what's created the context for us to hit this critical mass. We're at a critical mass right now, because now there's enough of us here, enough diversity, enough people who are absolutely committed, that bam, Operation Stone Soup is just popping out, right? So it's working. It's working.
I see that it's also an inspiring. It's an inspiring thing. For example, you know, look at our friend Brett. You know, he started up. He came to the party, and you know, he brought a lot of great ideas and a lot of great input, right? And you know, he went for it too. You know, he came up with the preposterous Sundays, and he did a two hour thing there, and I think I don't know how many he's done now. I think at least 3, right? And it's a 2 hour thing, and he found that challenging, to do it for 2 hours. So I mean, he's come to some realizations. So, but it's overall what's being done. I think it's inspiration. It can be an inspiration to some people, to at least give it a shot, give it a try, and everyone will approach it in their own way, and we'll have different results, right?
Yeah. And if you think about the block party as an institution, right, going every Friday, as it grows into the future, and much of Operation Stone Soup is credited to the block party, right? This thing is just going to explode. It's just going to be like a weekly planetary celebration, right? Where, somebody saying, "Oh, I'm not going to be able to make it to the block party this Sunday." That'd be like somebody in I don't know, deep in rural Georgia saying they're not going to come to church this Sunday. It's like, what? It's going to be this thing that like everybody's got to be at, right? Because let's face it, the 24-hour period from 6 a.m. Friday to 6 a.m. Saturday is kind of a universally super cool favorite 24 hours of the week. Thank God it's Friday, TGIF, right? Friday it's just the universal day of just coming down from it and saying, you know what, the weekend's here. Regardless of what's going on, this, that, the other, it's time to freaking chill out and party for your health, right? And wellness. And so that you can, then be recharged the next week. You got all day Saturday and all day Sunday to sleep it off. So, but Friday, party time, right?
That reminds me, since Nolan took over, we haven't taken a break.
Let's take a break. Let's take a break.
Yeah, I just want to go make some tea.
Yeah. How long would be good? How long?
10 minutes is fine. I don't need long. I just need to boil some water, make some tea.
Okay. Let's take till the top. Let's take till the
Java.
Sorry, Imre?
Sorry about that. I'm in for some Java also.
Good. Okay. Why don't we take till the top of the hour-ish, so we'll see you in, 12, 13 minutes, whatever. All right. We'll see you in a few. Thanks.
And Jamen.
Yes, Nolan.
I'm gonna